Every day on There's No Taste Like Home, Chef Gino D'Acampo will take 3 family cooks and the recipes that have been passed down through their families from generation to generation, out of the home and into a professional kitchen.
Okay, come on, come on.
Together, they'll serve up their treasured dishes to paying customers, and the winning dish, judged by Gino, will be added to the restaurant's menu for a month.
A happy cooks makes beautiful dinners.
To prove
that there is no taste like home.
On today's show, a classic rabbit pie that was originally cooked by a resourceful Norfolk family during World War II.
The rank of, like, my grandparents were only allowed to take the rabbits. And actually, if you were caught with a pheasant, you did have to go and spend a little time away.
A succulent Cromer crab dish that's been passed down 4 generations of one seafaring family.
My youngest son, who's out this very day at the moment, he's offshore about 22 mile off, catching crabs.
And a traditional Sunday roast with a unique twist that evokes warm memories of family gatherings.
Memories are of all the family being together and just the excitement, the frenzy before it's going to be served up.
Hello, I'm Gino D'Acampo, and today I'm in the beautiful city of Norwich, in Norfolk. This county is the birthplace of the most famous sailor in the country, Admiral Nelson, and of course, American founding father, Thomas Paine. With over 100 miles of coastline and over 2,000 miles of fertile land, the ingredients here are top-notch. So with ingredients like this, my 3 home cooks, they really have no excuse for not rustling up great home-cooked dishes. This restaurant is the location for today's cook-off, but like always, only one can win a place on its menu. So let's get in there and meet today's cook and prove one more time that there's no taste like home.
Dawn Pollock is making Nanny Maudes rabbit pie. David Chambers is making Grandad Harry's Cromer crab bake. And Luke Cotup is making Grandma Eva's Great Norfolk roast.
So guys, welcome to a professional kitchen. How do you feel?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it exciting, is it?
Yeah, very good.
Well, I'll tell you something, very soon this kitchen is going to get very hot. You got a lot of preparation to do. So what I want you to do, sleeves up, get in there, get into your station, do all the prep. Come on, let's start it.
Let's meet our first cook and find out how she cooks this dish at home. Dawn Pollock is a 48-year-old customer service advisor from Norwich. She lives with her husband Andy and 2 daughters, Sally and Susan. Their family favourite is Nanny Maudes rabbit pie.
This is how I make Nanny Maudes Norfolk rabbit pie. I'm lucky enough to have a dad who can go out and get me wild rabbit, but it is available now. So just go and ask at your local butcher's. Just put a drop of olive oil in the pan, and this is just to seal the rabbit off. The dish actually comes from my nan. She always used to cook this for my great-granddad. Now I just seal the rest of the ingredients. My dad had kept saying he could remember Nanny's rabbit pie, and I thought, well, I'll cook him one. Actually, he said it tasted exactly like it, so I've just stuck to the same recipe and the same things. You can add really as much bacon as you like. We've now got the stock. We just add this over to the rabbit. I like to cover it at this stage. You put it in the oven for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. There we go. Now we're going to make the pastry. First of all, just pop your flour in your bowl. And then your margarine, you need to just cut it into tiny pieces. And then just add your water. The aim is to get it into an oblong. Right, it's now been in about 1.5 hours. We want to take the meat off the bones. Just add that back into the gravy. Stir around. Right, that's ready to put in the pie dish now. Then what I do is just tuck it in so it's actually touching the rim. Just cut away the edge. Pop that in the middle shelf. The oven. The pie is now ready. It's lovely and golden. Right now, it's time to serve up.
That's Dawn's Nanny Maudes rabbit pie, a fantastic dish brimming with heritage. Time to find out about the dish's origins.
Tell me about this beautiful rabbit recipe.
It's from my nanny, my great nanny Maude, but it does go back as far as my great-granddad.
Dawn's great-grandfather worked as the head horseman for a wealthy family in Langham, Norfolk in 1943.
He done all like the shoots, got those ready and made sure all the beaters were there. The rank of my great-granddad were only allowed to take the rabbits. It was always the gentry that took the pheasants. And actually, if you were caught with a pheasant, you did have to go and spend a little time away.
So how old were you when you started to get involved with this dish?
I was probably about sort of 5. My nan was the first one to show me how to make a pastry. Every pie was decorated differently. The rabbit pie always had the petals with the rose in the middle. You never saw my nan without a pinny. Every photograph we've got, she's got a pinny on. I have to say, my mum was a fabulous cook. Unfortunately now, my mum's quite poorly and she can't remember how to do anything. So I've taken on all my grandmother's
All
recipes.
of your mother's recipe?
Yeah, which I cook for my dad. I don't always call it rabbit pie, I call it memory pie. I mean, I always have my dad and my brother over every time I cook it. And we always, as soon as the smell in the kitchen, and it always leads my dad off memories of years ago, what they used to do. And I'm actually now starting to teach my grandson. He's 8 and his favourite is gravy. He's getting the hang of gravy.
What would it mean to you, to your mother, to your grandmother, to win today and have this wonderful dish on a restaurant menu?
It would mean the world to me. My nan was very, very special. When you think of a grandmother, she's the grandmother that everyone thinks of. I'd like to think that this would be for my dad as well, because she was quite a big part of the family.
You know, she's here with us today. She's going to be with you all the way, right? And you're going to have to work hard. It's going to get very hot here.
Yeah.
We do it for the family. Okay, that's what I wanted to do, for the family, for yourself.
Yeah, and this is for her, for the family.
Oh.
With emotions running high, Dawn is determined to make her family proud and quickly gets to work sealing the rabbit and making the pastry. Mustard is the traditional accompaniment for rabbit, so Gino shows Dawn how to make her own.
I know you are not using mustard for your dish, but here in Norwich, mustard and rabbit, it goes like a marriage. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make a very simple homemade mustard. So, first thing you need is a pestle mortar, mustard seeds. Okay, you put them there, and you start to crush them. So what's happening now? It starts to release all the flavor. As you can see, all the mustard seeds, once you crush it, it becomes nice and yellow. So mix, 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 mix. Then very simple, we have a little bit of runny honey, because you want to put a little bit of sweetness in it. So a little runny honey goes in there. Start to mix. Then we got a little bit of vinegar. Okay? And you just mix everything together. And there you have it. Beautiful, simple, homemade mustard. Look at that.
Lovely.
Dawn's got a lot of work to do and she's concerned that the idea of rabbit on the menu will put some people off.
I'm probably most nervous about the dish, hoping that everybody will like it. Rabbit isn't that popular, and I'm hoping this will make people try it.
What a stunning recipe and what a confident home cook. But remember guys, they've never been in a professional kitchen before, so at this point, anything can happen.
Coming up, a Cromer crab dish from Norfolk's coastline that's been passed down 4 generations of one seafaring family.
My youngest son, who's out this very day at the moment, he's offshore about 22 mile off, catching crabs.
A traditional lamb roast that evokes warm memories of family Sunday lunches.
As it's all cooking, you get all the smells coming out and everyone's sort of getting a bit, when's it ready, when's it ready?
And our 3 home cooks take on service in a professional kitchen.
I need 5 crabs in total. 1 more rabbit, 1 more lamb. Come on guys, we really have to give a push, yeah? We have tickets coming from all over the place. Welcome back to There's No Taste Like Home. Today I'm in rural Norfolk. Now the 3 home cooks are trying to really cut the mustard today in this kitchen and preparing their food for paying customers which are going to be here very, very soon. Let's see who's going to cook up a storm for me next.
David Chambers is a 64-year-old fisherman from Melton Constable in Norfolk. He's married to wife Margaret and has 2 children and 9 grandchildren. David's making a dish that's been in his fishing family for over 50 years, Grandad Harry's Cromer crab bake.
Here's how I make my Grandad Harry's crab bake. This dish originally come from my grandfather, who came from Ireland, and it was carried on by my nan, because one of my jobs used to be grating the cheese and peeling potatoes. If we only caught 1, 2 or 3 crabs to make it go round such a big family, my nan used to mix it with the potatoes and that, and we all got a good share of it then. And by sitting down eating this, it just brings back some of the memories. Again, I like to put the chives in. It's added on from my nan's dish. We're going to pre-cook the vegetables to mix with the potatoes. I prefer the method of where we put it into the new wonders of cooking, into the microwave. We shut it and we set it for 4 minutes. And as far as seafood and fish goes, I find it one of the best inventions we had. I then mash up the boiled potatoes. Just a touch of cream, just to give it a bit of luxury, really. Some of the things I cook is what we learnt as children. Things that you can't buy today, these old traditional dishes are fantastic. And then we come to the very important bit, adding the crab. And contrary to all the rumours, I can categorically say you can't beat the Cromer crab. So although being a fisherman for 35, 40 years now, believe it or not, all the thousands of crabs that we've caught and processed through the family unit, I can't dress a crab. I always vowed I can catch them, I'll land them, I'll boil them, but I will not dress. And my wife is the one that always dressed my crabs for me, and you'll find that good. Take the brown meat of the crab and we add it into the potatoes. And the reason I say it's my favourite bit is quite simple, because I can always pinch a bit, and I still like crab after all these years. I really do. It's just a taste to make it, the potatoes go a little further and make the crab taste nice. Then we get the white meat of the crab. Just spread it on the top. We now finish it off again with the last piece of the cheese. Just chop a very small piece of parsley up and we just sprinkle it on the top. Put it into the microwave. I can put it on for, again, 3 minutes. Take that out. Now it's time to plate up.
That's David's Grandad Harry's Cromer crab bake, a dish with ingredients that have remained unchanged for generations.
Tell me more about your recipe.
It was designed in general by my grandfather. I learnt it from my grandmother, who I spent a great deal of time with in my youth.
What about the memory that you have with your grandmother in the kitchen?
I go back to when I was about 7. It was a very large family, so we all had our jobs to do, and my job would be on a big wooden table, going up and down on this thing, making this pile of cheese ready for the dish. That's how come we all learnt to cook.
David comes from 4 generations of crab fishermen, starting with his granddad Harry, who was a fisherman for over 40 years. David carried on the family tradition and has been crab fishing since 1959.
In them days I was very hard up, young family to keep, and I was often one of the few boats off the coast. Proud to have survived it. One day I didn't, I lost a boat. We pushed in a storm and she sunk 8 mile off in November. Put the crew and myself in the water. I just managed to get the Mayday out, and I was treading water for 30 odd minutes, and then my son-in-law, now, came out and found us.
So do you fish crab every day nowadays?
Near enough every day. We have 3 vessels in the family. My youngest son, who's out this very day at the moment, he's offshore about 22 mile off, catching crabs at sea all his life, from 9-year-old. He used to be one of the youngest skippers in the country, had his own boat by the time he was 16.
Can he do the recipe?
Yeah.
Can he do the exactly same recipe?
He tries, but he always says, Dad, I don't get it the same as you.
Now, what would it mean to you, to your family, to win today and have this beautiful dish that has been in your family for so many years, all of a sudden on a restaurant menu?
I'd be proud just to be able to say that, you know, the Chambers dish is being eaten by the normal people.
Yes!
And biggest thing of all is for the fishermen of Cromer to put their product on the market again, to stand there and say, we've got the best crab.
Yes.
David starts to peel the potatoes for his beloved crab bake, but Gino is keen to learn more about his time-saving cooking methods.
Now, tell me about this love affair that you have with the microwave.
Quite simply, if you cook crab, as you well know, most shellfish goes very hard.
Yes, they do.
You know, once it's been cooked and done, which is what we do, and then you put it into an oven, it'll go very rubbery and tough. So the idea of a microwave is to hit it just to melt the grated cheese on the top.
Okay.
That is the main reason.
You know that this is not going to happen. I haven't seen a microwave in this kitchen yet.
No, well, what I'm going to do, and this is the deal, you show me how to use an oven, and I'll show you how to use a
You got a deal, my friend. You got a deal.
OK, Gino.
David gets cooking again, but the realities of working in a professional restaurant are starting to dawn on him.
I'm a little bit worried about the measurements of the dishes. We've multiplied it quite big, and I don't normally weigh or measure anything at home. It's all done by eye and guesswork. So it's going to be interesting.
With just 3 hours to go before service, our home cooks are piling on the elbow grease as they prepare their beloved family dishes for the first time in a professional kitchen. Each one is hoping that Gino will pick their dish to take pride of place on this restaurant's menu for a month. We've already heard about Dawn's Nanny Maudes rabbit pie and David's granddad Harry's Cromer crab bake.
Today's menu is really coming up together, and I really hope that the paying customers of Norwich are ready for it. But we still have one more to go on today's magnificent menu.
Luke is a 32-year-old greengrocer from Norwich. He lives with wife Jodie and 8-month-old son George. His dish is a real Sunday family favourite, Grandma Eva's great Norfolk roast with Norfolk flats.
Here is how I make Grandma Eva's great Norfolk roast. My first memories of this dish probably go back to when I was about 5 or 6, and it was almost a ritual. Every Sunday we'd have a roast dinner. What I want to do to start off with is get my roasting dish ready. I've been this morning and picked the lamb up from my butcher. Nice new season spring lamb is going to be filled with flavour. We've raided the herbs from the garden. Traditionally, Grandma would have put the anchovies into the bottom of the roasting tray with all of the veg. I've put a little twist on that, and what I've done is where I've studded it with the garlic and rosemary, I put some of the anchovy in there as well. Lamb's done. Put this in for half an hour at a really, really high temperature. We'll then lower the temperature for the remaining period of time. And what we're going to put together now is the mixture for our Norfolk flat. Over the years, whenever I've tried to make the Yorkshire, they sometimes turn out really nice and high and fluffy and crusty. Other times, they turn out about that big. So we, as a joke, because we're in Norfolk and Norfolk is renowned to be so flat, we renamed it and called it a Norfolk flat. We're going to put another little twist on it, which I've added to the recipe. I'm going to put some of the fresh rosemary through it. In goes the rosemary. That's going to go straight back into the oven. This was Grandma Eva's carving knife, and it's always a big sort of memory point really for the Sundays, because as soon as you heard this knife go, i.e. that was when you knew as a kid you could run through into the kitchen and just hover around the meat board for any little bits that might fall off. The Norfolk, not so flat, but you can see where all the rosemary has come through, giving it a little green flick. Next, we're ready to plate up.
That's Luke's Grandma Eva's great Norfolk roast with Norfolk flats, served with broccoli and cauliflower cheese, roast potatoes and carrot and swede mash.
Luke, tell me a little bit about your grandmother, her character, what she was doing. You know, tell me.
Grandma Eva, she was a big, cuddly character, full of life. They grew up during the war. They worked with the Salvation Army. Very, very close family, very passionate towards the family and towards their food. My memories were always the Sunday lunch, the roast lamb on the Sunday with Grandma. The memories are of all the family being together and just the excitement, the frenzy before it's going to be served up. And as it's all cooking, you get all the smells coming out and everyone's sort of getting a bit, when's it ready, when's it ready?
Tell me a little bit about your memory about this dish, you know, when you first got involved with it.
Well, really, it would be from a really young age, probably around 5, where I would always be in the kitchen watching what my mum and dad would do. And then I'd say, well, can I help? So I was always given things like the carrots. So my biggest memory would be I'd put my little pinny on, pull a chair up next to the worktop, and there I'd start peeling and topping and tailing. And then as I got older, I learned to do more. It got to about the age of probably about 8, 9, maybe 10, where I turned around and said, come on, let me have a go doing it. I'm ready
now.
Yeah, I've run the gauntlet.
Have you ever had the chance to cook this dish for your grandma?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What she thinks?
Well, she was very proud that I could put it all together, get all the timing done, and recreate that dish with all the flavours. What I'm looking forward to doing is passing it on to my little son, George. He will sit on the worktop and he just watches me prepping everything. This is learning.
Look, what would it mean to you to win today's competition and have your dish on a restaurant menu for a month?
It would mean the world to me because I could share what our family passion is, which is food. And it's a really, really important dish for people to learn how to make. It's quite easy. It's full of flavour.
Luke has prepared his lamb and is in the middle of making a bechamel sauce for his cauliflower and broccoli bake.
I'm feeling the heat. No, I'm all right. I'm just conscious I don't want any lumps or for it to split.
But Gino spots a potential problem with the mixture and steps in.
There are a couple of tips to make sure that it doesn't split. What is yours?
Well, the way I do it is I add my milk into my roux slowly, small amounts at a time.
But the milk is hot.
The milk is hot.
Ta-ta-ta-ta. See, the classic technique would be to have the roux hot and the milk really cold. As you're doing that, I can tell you why the problem it could be that you have lumps. Hot milk is the time where it starts to separate between water and fat. So when it's hot, the milk at this stage is very, very delicate.
Yeah.
And very easily will split, very easily will make lumps into the bechamel sauce. If this one was completely cold, you wouldn't have none of the problems that I just said.
So that's
Now, the other thing is as well, usually the percentage is 1/10 to the milk. So if this is 100 grams of butter, 100 grams of flour, this one should be 1 liter of milk.
Okay.
So it's always 1/10 of the milk to make the perfect bechamel sauce.
And this is what my mum taught me. She just said, keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. And we're starting to get the little shine. I like to think there's not too many lumps in there at the moment.
It's okay, it's only a few lumps. Nobody will realise that.
So all I'm going to do is
Beautiful.
cook the flour out.
Until it gets thickened.
Thicker, I'm going to add the cheese and I'm going to add fresh grated nutmeg.
There you have it. This is how to make a very quick cheese sauce.
Luke may feel better about his bechamel sauce, but is anxious about the sheer amount of work involved to deliver the perfect roast to the paying diners.
I've got a lot of prep to do today. Lots of peeling, lots of chopping, lots of topping and tailing.
It's 2 hours until service and the pressure is on. Our 3 home cooks are busy preparing their dishes, this time for paying customers. With the rabbit still cooking and the pastry not finished, Dawn is in danger of falling behind schedule.
Lose all track of time in here. The rabbit's not out of the oven yet, so yeah, a little bit of panic now.
David is stirring his crab into the potato and vegetable mix, and despite Gino's deal, is still not convinced on the merits of cooking his dish in a conventional oven.
I still like microwave for fish, but at the end of the day, I'll give both a try. Peas in a pod will always cook either way.
Luke's lamb's in the oven and he's now preparing his Norfolk flat mix, but can he bring all the elements together for service?
We're against the clock now. It's got to be really good tasting food.
That concludes today's menu. 3 dishes jam-packed with history. But as always, there is only one place for one dish to stay on this restaurant menu for 1 month.
Coming up, the heat is on for the cooks to deliver as 50 paying diners make their orders.
4 crab, 1 rabbit and 1 lamb. Come on, I need these 8 crabs.
And David runs into big problems.
Whoa. Are you serious? Look, I'm putting my finger in there, it's freezing.
That's the oven, I can't do them all. We tried them.
I cannot serve a cold dish. Welcome back to There's No Taste Like Home, where today I'm in the country's most eastern city, Norwich. Very soon, this magnificent restaurant is going to be filled with paying customers, all eager to try some good old-fashioned home food. While my home cooks are busy prepared for service, let's remind ourselves what's on the menu today.
Dawn Pollock is making Granny Maude's classic rabbit pie, originally created by her family during the strict rationing of World War II.
My dad had kept saying that he could remember Nanny's rabbit pie, but actually he said it tasted exactly like it.
David Chambers is making Grandad Harry's Cromer crab bake, a recipe that his family of fishermen have never tired of.
I still like crab after all these years. I really do.
And Luke Cotup is making his Grandma Eva's Great Norfolk Roast, a dish that summons happy memories of childhood.
Because as soon as you heard this knife go, that was when you knew, as a kid, you could run through into the kitchen and just hover around the meat board for any little bits that might fall off.
Preparation is over in the kitchen and the finishing touches are underway in the dining room. Very shortly, 50 discerning diners will be sitting down for lunch service. Back in the kitchen, the nerves are setting in for our 3 home cooks.
Well, I've been in many professional kitchens. I've never been this side, ever. I'll be honest, now I know how hard they work.
More in the front. It's a bit daunting being in a professional kitchen. I'm most worried about overcooking the lamb.
Really full on. How these people do it every day, I do not know.
What's happening here?
We just got a little bit of Christmas going, but that's fine. We've rescued it.
Some people would say burnt. In a professional kitchen, we call them crispy caramelized. That's what I love about you. And what's happening here?
Just crimping it. I usually have a little slightly flatter dish,
Okay.
but I usually just crimp it as I go along.
I don't see any flowers or roses here.
No.
So what's happening? We have paying customers coming in and you couldn't even be bothered to do the flower.
I'm sorry. I just ran out of pastry. You know, we're under pressure.
Already under pressure? We haven't even started yet.
I know.
With Luke and Dawn both struggling, David's finding the conventional ovens a challenge.
I just can't use them. You throw me into something I can't use.
What are you doing there? Chatting away.
I'm trying to be a chef.
You're trying to be a Are you gonna be ready for service, yes or no?
I'll try.
I want you to say, yes, Gino, we're gonna be ready.
We'll be ready.
Finally, it's lunch service and the restaurant's doors open to their hungry clientele. There's a fantastic turnout of Norfolk's local residents. Even the Sheriff of Norwich has come down to try out some good old-fashioned home cooking.
The menu is looking really good. I think we've got 3 meals here that sum up the spirit of Norfolk very well.
We're quite torn. We don't know what one to have because they all look really nice.
But I certainly homed in on the Cromer crab because it's not something I would make at home.
I think with the lamb, the rabbit and the crab, I'm going to be spoilt for choice.
With service about to start, Gino must ensure that everything going out of the kitchen is not only cooked properly, but also beautifully presented. So before anybody orders, Gino puts each dish to the taste test. First up is Luke's Grandma Eva's Great Norfolk Roast.
I love lamb. Good flavor. I can get the rosemary flavor in there. This is the Norfolk flat, which is nice. Cauliflower and broccoli cheese. I love the fact that the cauliflower is nice and al dente with the cheese sauce. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. And the combination of the cauliflower cheese and the lamb is really, really beautiful.
Next up for tasting is David's Grandad Harry's Cromer Crab Bake.
This part here looks amazing. I have to say, I'm not really keen about the way the vegetables are presented. It looks quite dry and quite messy, so I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. But tasting the crab, good. Well-seasoned dish. The sweetness of the crab comes very nicely through. The peppers are nice and crunchy. It's beautiful.
And finally, it's Dawn's Nanny Maudes rabbit pie.
Now, the first thing is I want to make sure that the pastry is cooked. And I think we are on a winner here. Done to perfection. So look at that. Pieces of mushroom, flaking rabbit with the pastry is just heaven. Oh. Oh. The meat is flaking and breaking in my mouth. Absolutely beautiful.
Satisfied with the dishes, Gino heads out to the restaurants to greet some very special customers.
So you must be Jill. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Luke is working very, very hard in the kitchen.
Good.
Do you want him to win?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I think he should win, because I think he deserves to win, because I think he's got a wonderful palate and a wonderful flair. And it would be just so lovely because of my mum.
I wish you the best of luck. Have a good lunch.
Thank you
and
very
I'll see
much.
you later.
Thank you.
Ciao, Bella. So, Bob, how are you?
All right.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
You must be very proud that a dish that has been in your family for so long, all of a sudden on a restaurant menu.
Yeah, but my grandmother used to do it, you see.
And your grandmother as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you reckon she gonna be alright in a professional kitchen?
I think, Gino, she'd keep up with you.
We will soon find out.
Yeah.
You have a great lunch, guys.
So expectations are high with the home cook's family members. By the end of lunch, Gino has the tough task of awarding one dish the coveted prize of being on this restaurant's menu for 1 month. His decision will look at 3 main criteria: cost of ingredients, preparation time in the kitchen, and the reaction of the diners.
My biggest worry about service is getting burnt.
So this is where we are today. I have Luke, the overconfident one, with Lego lamb. Unless he's perfect, he's not going anywhere. So no pressure. I have Dave. He's going to be a little bit of panic with him because I think he's definitely not used to a professional kitchen. He has no idea what is going to come to him. Then we got Dawn with the rabbit. I'm a little bit worried about that because I think people, they are scared when they see rabbit on the menu. So I really hope that they're gonna give it a chance. Now, listen to me. Service is about to start in about a minute, okay? The order are gonna come in and they're gonna be very fast. When I call the order, okay, I want you to answer me back, yes, chef, because I need to know that you understood the order. Are you ready?
Yes, chef.
Okay, so let's get in position and let's rock and roll.
Yeah, 2 crab.
Yeah.
I'll go for the rabbit.
May I have the lamb, please?
Okay, guys, the first orders. Can I have 6 lamb, 1 rabbit, 4 crab?
Yes, chef.
Table 16, I've got 2 crab.
As service begins, there's immediately a rush.
Look at that. Can I have 1 rabbit, 4 crabs, Dave?
Yes,
2 more
chef,
crabs.
2 more crabs.
2 more crabs, yeah? 1 more rabbit, 1 more lamb. 1 more crab, nice and hot, 4 lamb.
1 rabbit, I've got 2 crab and 1 roast lamb.
I need 4 more crabs. And I need 2... Guys, are you listening to me?
Yes, chef.
Okay, I need 6 lamb. You must put these crabs in. I need another 2 more. Come on, 6 of them, one after the other one in.
The chefs are struggling to keep up as more orders come in.
Come on, guys, we really have to give a push, yeah? We have tickets coming from all over the place. Get the rabbits and put them in the oven.
Yeah.
Get about 10 crabs and put them in the oven, yeah?
As head chef, it's Gino's job to ensure all the dishes meet his high standards before they leave the kitchen. But there's a problem with David's crab dish.
That's it. Are you serious? Look, I'm putting my finger in there. It's freezing.
That's the oven. I can't do them all. We tried them.
These are absolutely freezing. You must give me your dish that is hot. I cannot serve a cold dish.
Hectic.
Well, I have to say that it's going very slow at the moment. We're having a few problems with the crabs. I don't know why are they not ready. I needed this crab, man. Seriously.
Ah, that's fantastic. Whoa.
Season always from high, not low. Otherwise, it's going to concentrate in one place only. Yes, chef. Gonna come here 1 second. Have a look at this. All the plate is dirty. Make sure that you give me the plate as clean as you can. Look at it. Look at here.
Yeah.
The best way to do it, get all the crabs into the oven right now.
Right.
All of them.
Service is in full flow and the cooks start to pick up speed, producing some top quality food.
Fantastic. Look at that. Your dish looks amazing.
Well, thank you for
Wonderful.
that.
Really, really
Hard
cool.
work.
You should be very proud of that, my friend.
No worries. Thank you.
With the cooks finally settling into service with head chef Gino, just how is the food going down with the diners?
Very, very tasty indeed. Yeah, a lovely taste of the Norfolk seaside. Beautiful.
So far, it's really nice. Everything goes well together, especially the gravy. That's gorgeous. I'm looking forward to eating the rest.
I ordered the lamb and it's really tasty and really succulent and it's all very nice.
Come on, we can definitely do this, guys. Come on, come on, come on. Give me this lamb. Give me this lamb.
Yes, chef.
4 rabbits. I need 5 crabs in total. Hot pies, hot lady, hot pies, hot lady. I need 1 more crab. How long?
3 minutes, chef.
3 minutes. 3 minutes?
I haven't noticed.
Have you not got the other leg?
Yeah, I'm now about to cut that.
Yeah. Look at that. Beautiful. Yes. I need 1 more crab. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's why I do what I do.
Don't get them out.
Dave, you got 10 seconds to finish off with these 2 crabs.
Just take the one out, Gino.
That's it. Very nice. Are you sure that they're hot? Yeah?
Yeah, that's what we're...
Positive.
Service is nearly over for the 3 home cooks and the food seems to be pleasing the palates of the diners.
All 3 have been absolutely fantastic, but which one is going to make it on the menu?
Coming up.
The winner of There's No Taste Like Home is... Hurry up with this lamb. Hurry up, there's 6 lambs.
Chef Gino D'Acampo is on a mission to prove there's no taste like home.
Come on, let's do it. We can do this.
He's found 3 home cooks with 3 historic family recipes.
All right, table number 5, 4 rabbits, 5 crabs.
Yes, chef.
After a difficult start, where our home cooks struggled to keep up with the barrage of orders, they've now settled into service and the diners seem to be enjoying their cherished family favourites.
I reckon that's done beautifully. Yeah, thoroughly enjoying it. Thank you.
Really beautiful. Didn't expect it to be as juicy. It's really delicious. It's delicious, really delicious. Got nice peppers in and it's nice and crunchy. It's lovely, isn't it? Tasty.
It's your lamb. Done.
Service is nearly over and the cooks are all hoping Gino will choose their dish as the winner and secure a place on the restaurant's menu for a month.
Okay, guys, this is the final table. I need 2 more lamb.
Yes, chef.
The last table. Well done, you've done it. Very good. How are you feeling?
Whacked.
Yeah?
How you do it every day, I don't know.
Dave?
But it's...
Yeah, I recommend it for a medal. I think it should be a medal, because that is really hard in here.
It's tough.
Service is finished and our cooks have done all they can to showcase their dishes. It's now up to the diners, Jasmine, the restaurant manager, and Simon, the head chef, to help Gino pick the winner.
I had the Cromer crab and the beans were cooked really nicely and there was a nice mix of flavours and textures. Yeah, it was really nice.
I had the Norfolk roast and it tasted nice but the lamb was too fatty for me.
I had the rabbit pie. I thought it was really nice, never had rabbit before. I was quite surprised how it tasted, didn't really know what to expect, but I really enjoyed it. The vegetables were lovely and the pastry was probably the best pastry I've ever had.
Well, they seem to have enjoyed them, but which dish will Gino pick? Will it be Dawn Pollock making Nanny Maudes rabbit pie, a classic dish that fed the poor gamekeepers of wealthy families over 70 years ago?
What would it mean to you to win today and have this wonderful dish on a restaurant menu?
It would mean the world to me because she was quite a big part of the family.
Or will David Chambers make the grade with his granddad Harry's Cromer crab bake, a dish passed down through 4 generations of his family of crab fishermen?
I'd be proud just to be able to say that, you know, the Chambers dish is being eaten by the normal people.
Or can Luke Coatup impress with his Grandma Eva's Great Norfolk Roast, a traditional meal that evokes warm memories of Sunday family gatherings?
It would mean the world to me because I could share what our family passion is, which is food.
Time to welcome the cooks into the restaurant to find out whose heritage dish will win a place on the menu.
Well done, man. Well done, well done. Well done. Are you okay?
Well done.
Well, Luke, the dish was amazing. It looked good on a plate. And I have to say, from this morning, you kept very professionally, you know, very cool, very calm. And I like that. And you really delivered during service.
Thank you.
Dave, what can I say about you? Dave, I have to admit, during service, at one point, I thought you were gonna die. You were all red, sweating everywhere. But, you know, slowly, you delivered. And I like that. So well done to you as well. Don, this morning, I was a bit worried when you came into the kitchen because I thought you would have panicked during service. But you know what? You did very well. I was really, really impressed. So well done for that. Unfortunately, we can only have one winner. Of course, by being here, you're all winners already. But today, the winner of There's No Taste Like Home is... the rabbit pie. Absolutely fantastic.
This is such a big thing for my nan. My nan was a wonderful lady and she was a fabulous cook. And this is a real, if she was here, I know she'd just be so, so proud.
She worked very hard getting it together. A very difficult dish, I would have thought. Yeah, I'm well happy, thank you.
Excellent experience. A few war wounds. Got a little bit hot and sweaty in there, but yeah, really good experience. Loved it.
All three dishes that really captures the spirit of today's show. And of course, congratulations to all the three cooks, especially to Dawn and her rabbit pie. Now, join me next time as I continue my journey across the UK to discover more home cooks. Because we want to prove, one more time, that does not taste like home. So if you want to try the winning dish yourself, or perhaps you want the details of the recipes featured on today's show, go to itv.com/food.